Honorable General Majiba and Dr. Samuel Matthew Sinkama taking their photo of journalists after the nomination process here at the Electoral Commission's office.
In the struggles of APC, there is victory. No. APC, back to power now. APC, back to power.
By the constitutional powers conferred on me as National Returning Officer and under Section 43 and 44 of the Public Elections Act 2022, Act number 17 of 2022, having received your nomination as presidential and vice presidential candidates to whom these nomination papers relate, and to which we have stated that you are qualified and disqualified for the election to the office of President and Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone by statutory declaration herein, I hereby provisionally nominate you to contest for the above offices pending any objection to the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone.
And I guess we'll make the way on to the reception, Naya. For confirm the names and tags again as part of the security process. So we make way currently up the stairs of the National Electoral Commission office now onto the conference room. So we ensure say we bring on every detail as it happen. Director Albert Masakoy leading the entourage of APC party stalwarts, including the two nominees, the presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate, Dr. Samuel Kamara and Honorable Cheno Majuba, respectively, up through to the conference room now outside the nomination process gets for start. You still watch Africa Young Voices Media Empire. And we'll bring you live footage here from the and also we're for ensure authentication and verification process we get for Apunaya. I should bring you live footage courtesy of that Voices Media Empire. We get for Apunaya, and we also then ensure see we bring in every opinion. Of course, verification and authentication again ongoing before they actually access the hall. Currently, they make way inside the conference hall of the All People's Congress Party office here now the National Electoral Office. And the verification process they go as again as soon as they hear it from the background, strictly by the one the way they provide the names and for the list. Dr. Samuel Matthew Wilson Kama calling on the entourage then for be present. Dr. Samuel Kama, you welcome to Africa Young Voices Media Empire. Firstly, how been the procession and what do you hope for get from this nomination process today?
Awesome. Well, this is a fulfillment of constitutional requirement. Okay, I'm just there to be nominated by 3 executive members And then that's it. The next stage will be the elections.
Right.
We'll face the people.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, the party aspirant of the All People's Congress Party, that Dr. Samuel Kama, are hopeful about the nomination process. And we also don't get the arrival of Honorable Cherino Majuba and the wives. We accompany them now at the process, awaiting them. So as I've been taken through, viewers, we get 3 junction or 3 sets where we get to go through this nomination process. We get to get the reception officer, we get to receive them. We get to get the scrutiny officer, we get to scrutinize them. And then we get to get also outside and get to deal with the returning officer of the Electoral Commission, Sierra Leone, where now the commissioner himself. Continue for Watch Africa Young Voices Media Empire. As we can go now every detail. As you see, I'm currently there at the table of the National Returning Officer. Outside the presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. Sharon Majuba Smiles, as well as the presidential candidate Dr. Samuel Matthew Wilson Kamara. Yes, in dark suits and red tie. And we also go through the process here. As part of the nominators, now the process, we get Alhaji Minkailu Mansari, Thomas, and lawyer Lansana Dumbuya. Now these 3 nominators, then Nande, where they can nominate the presidential and vice presidential candidate. And we also get the entourage them. We accompany the party officers, as you can see. And whilst we await the National Returning Officer of the Electoral Commission Sierra Leone, already know nominates of the People's Congress parties, presidential candidate and presidential candidate will be Alhaji Minkailu Mansari, Net Thomas, and also lawyer Lansana Dumbuya. We currently await the arrival of the returning officer of the National Electoral Commission. And let's take on through quickly the process where they happen now. Whilst with the arrival of the National Returning Officer, when I did the nomination process get for start, and then we get for come to the scrutiny officer, and then to the reception officer. Those are the 3 processes of the nomination. As you can see behind Dr. Samuel Kamara and Honorable Cherino Majuba, the 3 nominators there, where they do the nomination process. We currently bring you live footage here from the conference room of the Electoral Commission Sierra Leone. Of course, we'll bring you live footage here from the Electoral Commission headquarters here now, Tower Hill. As you can see, the nominators just behind the two aspirants. We get for nominate. Alhaji Usman Forian Sane, Mikhailo Mansare, we got Lawyer Dumbuya and Nettie Thomas.
Immediately, the presidential candidate, after the first address, is going to move to this first table. That's what we see here. From this table, he moves to this table. And finally, he goes here, social national return officer. And that's it. Thank you. Scrutiny goes to the national return officer who notify him as provisionally nominated.
You currently watch the African Young Voices Media Empire Television AYV as we bring you live proceedings from the nomination process here at the Electoral Commissioner's headquarters office in Freetown. As stated earlier, Section 43, subsection 1 and 2 of the Public Elections Act number 17 of 2002 makes provision for nomination of presidential candidates. Subsection 1 states that a person shall not stand as candidate in a presidential election if he is not a candidate nominated by a political party. And subsection 2 states that a person is not qualified to be nominated as a candidate in a presidential election unless he is A, citizen of Sierra Leone by birth, B, a member of a political party, C, not less than 40 years of age, and D, otherwise disqualified to be elected as a member of parliament. We're currently awaiting the opening courtesies here by the Electoral Commission, but also the form of nomination of presidential candidates is provided for by sections 4.1, that the nomination of a presidential candidate shall be in writing in the form specified in the third schedule and shall be subscribed by the presidential candidate, the candidate designated for the office of vice president by the presidential candidate in accordance with subsection 2 of section 54 of the Constitution, and 3 executive members of the political party which nominated the presidential candidate. Those 3 executive members, Lawyer Lansana Dumbuya, Mikhailo Mansare, and Nettie Thomas. And also, the provision states that a person shall not be qualified to be designated as a candidate for the office of vice president if he does not have a qualification specified in subsection 2 of section 43. And the nomination papers of a professional candidate shall be delivered by the presidential candidate to the returning officer on the day, time, and place that shall be determined by the returning officer. And that is where we are now on this process. By order published in the Gazette and also accompanying with 2 statutory declarations from prescribed in the 4th schedule separately by the president candidates, and the candidate designed by him for the office, designated by him for the office of vice president. Subsection 4 states that the returning officer for presidential election shall be the chairman of the Electoral Commission, and we are awaiting the chairman and the open courtesies here from the Electoral Commission as part of the provisions slated for in the Public Elections Act number 17, 2022. As you can see, party executive of the People's Congress Party seated, and the number of entourage as slated on the list at 20 in total.
I would advise that we curtail or reduce the level of movement. Thank you very much. In about a minute or so, we shall start this program.
Director Masako giving us the opening courtesies.
Shall we also put our rules on
the ground rules?
Have the restroom on this side of the building. And emergency exits.
It's regular.
We've now witnessed the arrival of electoral commissioners of different regions. We have the electoral commissioner for Southern Region, Edmond Sylvester Alpha, and also electoral commissioner Eastern Region, Megan Sianyuma Moje, the National Electoral Commissioner, NEC, Mohamed K. Kone, and Zainab Umu Mosi, electoral commissioner of the region, my electoral commissioner of the region, and Bakano, commissioner Northwest region.
Photos were applicable and symbols are captured and printed on ballot. You're all welcome, and let me take the opportunity to briefly introduce to you the Chief Electoral Commissioner and the Board of Commissioners. Then I shall continue with my overview. The National Returning Officer for this engagement, this nomination process, is the Chief Electoral Commissioner and the Chairman of the National Returning Officer and Vice President of ECONEC, Commissioner Mohamed Kenewi Kone. We also have in our midst a body of electoral commissioners. I will call them in the order as they are seated. On my immediate right is the Commissioner for the Western Area, Commissioner Zainab Umu Mosi. To her immediate right, another electoral commissioner for the Southern Region, Edmond Sylvester Alpha. Following electoral commissioner for the Eastern Region, Megan Sianyuma Moje. Following another commissioner for the Northern Region, Abubakar Mahmoud Kuroma. commissioners for the Northwest region, and you have the executive assistant to the CEC. I'm Masako, the director of external relations. Presidential nomination process, it is according to sections 43 and 46 of the Public Elections Act of 2022, wherein we'll be talking about nomination of presidential and vice-presidential candidates, filling of nomination papers, payment of nomination fees, certification of provisional nomination status, publication of provisional fees that will be presented. And let me remind there and viewers there that nominations are done in 16 electoral districts nationwide. Overview of the process. There are 3 stages in this nomination process. We have, by law, 3 categories of officials that are going to be involved. We have the reception officer, that is the desk out there. We also have the scrutiny officer, and of course, the national returning officer. The role of the reception officer is to officially receive the nomination papers from the candidates. He or she will check and confirm whether all the papers have been submitted, verifies physical documents, and thereafter, he will pass these documents and information. Physical documents include the nomination fees or proof of payment of nomination fees, as well as the voter registration cards. The scrutiny officer, that is that section over there, their role is to further verify the nomination documents if there are errors, to confirm. And this is where the ID cards will be collected and the details from the ID card will be inputted to confirm and verify that the said persons are registered in the Electoral Commission database. Their names and details are in the database. Then thereafter, all other documentations will be arranged with regards to photocopying and all other sorts. And the other official, who is the scrutiny officer 2, she deals with money matters, proof of payment. Then thereafter, from this end, it is only the presidential and vice presidential candidates that will be moving. All of us will be seated. From this point, they would go there. After the reception desk, they would come on the other side, where you have the scrutiny officer. Then after, they will come and sit here again where they are currently seated. And the role of the national returning officer, as the name implies, is to again check to confirm that the staff of the commission have done due diligence to all of the documentations, but more importantly, to issue certificates of registration and sign off all other related documents. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to the Chief Electoral Commissioner. If he has anything to say, then we can start the process. And after the Chief Electoral Commissioner completes his address, I will kindly ask that the presidential and vice presidential candidates after would have to start the process over there. You are going to meet me there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Albert. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Doctor and China. Most welcome to the ECSL. This is the midpoint of the electoral activities. We've concluded voter registration. We've issued ID cards, and now we are going to start nomination today with the All People's Congress. And we appreciate the extent for the party's compliance with the arrangement we had that will only allow 20 people to come to this building. And I hope we'll continue with a good working relationship. Without much wasting time, much ado, let's proceed to the next stage of the nomination process.
Next time. Okay, that's it.
welcome to the reception desk. So this is the reception desk. If there are papers, documents, nomination papers, please tender them. Thank you. All nomination documents. Okay. Endorse list of candidates checklist. Nomination form for presidential and vice presidential candidates. Then this is the declaration form and payment. Your voter ID list. Also the nominators. Thank you. May I kindly ask that you take these other seats? We are done here. Thank you. Operations of the officer will be for us to see on the screen. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. As a screening officer, even though we have received the ID card from the reception officer, what we need to verify is whether these are actually valid ID card from our system and whether the party has actually gone to do the online verification system, nomination system. So we have a platform where we check because we allow political parties to actually submit their nominations online. So we're going to verify whether the candidates were endorsed by the political party. And then after that, we look at their nomination. And then we look at based on what we have, we now do approval for them to actually move to the national returning officer. We have what the platform does is basically to check whether it's submitted the list. So from our platform, we can see view approved nomination. Okay. So once we have received this document, we go into our portal and see we are handling today presidential election. The political party, which is the All People's Congress, and then the system will allow us to confirm our selection that indeed we are handling the APC, and then once that is done, we can indeed Dr. Samora Kamara has been endorsed and nominated by the by the All People's Congress. So immediately after that, what happens before you actually get to this stage, the system to one, your age, your ID cards, and every other criteria meeting. If you don't go through this system, definitely your information will not be uploaded here. So as we have received these ID cards, it means indeed they have gone through the scrutiny process at the back. and can attest to that this was the exact portal which they used to actually do this particular process. So as you can see on the far right, it's currently unchecked. So I will now check that particular box, and then we approve the candidate's presentation. And then once we approve, we'll say yes, because we have gone through the document, we have received the ID cards, and then the All People's Congress candidate nomination has been approved online. It's different from what the chair will be doing. So the next thing, we have to go to print our provisional list, and then we have, again, based on our last input, so we can now have, currently we have 2 political parties. So we are handling the All People's Congress, so we just go there and then we click, and then we have, okay, the information there. And then we do a printout of that. So basically, that's what we have from our system, and then the next thing should be to print. And then finally, I will now hand this document over to the National Returning Officer. Please photocopy the fee. No, you have to sign. You have to sign before we do the photocopy. Excuse me. National Returning Officer, after vetting the system, I spoke with
want to hear kind of commitment that all of us will go by the rules and will maintain peace, so that at the end of the day, on the day of elections, our kids will be going to school, everybody will be doing their normal business, his wife will still go home. I just want to have this confirmation. I'm going to sign the provisional nomination by way of commitment to ensuring peaceful conduct of election. Thank you.
Thank you very much. National Returning Officer, Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, on this nomination process, my nomination process, and that of my running mates. I want to thank you for the reception. But let me confirm that, as always, the party I do represent, the party that has elected me to this position, the All People's Congress Party, is committed to ensuring that there is national peace, security, and unity at all levels of national development perspectives, including, most importantly, your electoral process. I want to throw the ball back at you, your cause, that as long as the process is excellent, it's perfect, it's done as stated in the Constitution and the laws of Sierra Leone, I do not foresee any problem. I want to assure you that there will never be a moment when the All People's Congress Party will orchestrate or perpetrate violence within the context of your responsibilities. We appreciate the difficulties you have. We appreciate the important duties that you want to discharge. We look up to you in a strong partnership with our political party to ensure that this election, June 24, 2023, as we have stated, and I'm sure you have also committed to all of us seated here, that it will be done in a free, fair, and non-violent situation, particularly free, fair. Our concern has always been when election of this nature are conducted, you must always allow the electorate the freedom, the space, democratic space to exercise their judgment without any interference, particularly from the security forces. That has been our problem. We are coming here out of nowhere, started hearing gunshots. It was uncalled for. And I think you have to pay special attention. But these are the indicators that trigger and people become dissatisfied. So as I said, I want to appeal to you and the commissioners, and the rest of the staff, management of this noble institution, to make sure that we have peace in the election, we have freedom to operate, we have very little interference in the security. But they are very trigger happy. That's not good. Portray democratic principles. So I'm sure in the office you may not have had shots, live shots, whether it was tear gas, we saw some smoke. I don't understand whether that was smoke of tear gas. I think we were too quick to react to this. It was totally unnecessary. So I just want to recommit myself, my running mates, nominators, and the rest of the All People's Congress Party supporters to adhere to all the principles of a free, fair, and non-violent election. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Electoral Commission, we appreciate your commitment to peace, and all our parts will also committed to ensuring free and fair election. Incredible process. With regard to the incident, you and I know that we have at the only 20 supporters or accompanied we allowed to enter into the Electoral Commission building. And as a result, we had discussions with the security forces, and we had indication that all supporters will be somewhere. Only the 20 names that we receive were expected to come here. So I think that was the security arrangement which they had put in place, which we don't have control over. But the understanding
from Jubilant to accompany them, and respect your route. Where the incident took place was close to more than 300 meters away from the precinct perimeter of your building. I'm sure the 20 is allowed within the perimeter of your building, not like National Library Board where the incident took place. I think it is good that you pay special attention to this. This is what we breed unfortunate incidents in elections. Thank you.
Thank you. By the constitutional powers conferred on me as National Returning Officer and under Section 43 and 44 of the Public Elections Act 2022, Act number 17 of 2022, having received your nomination as presidential and vice presidential candidates to whom these nomination papers relate, and to which we have stated that you are qualified and not disqualified for election to the office of President and Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone by statutory declaration therein, I hereby provisionally nominate you to contest for the above offices any objection to the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone.
the Electoral Commissioner there, Mohamed Kenawi Kone, performing his statutory obligation by declaring the nomination from Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara and Honorable Cherno Majuba as presidential candidates for the People's Congress Party for the June 24th presidential elections, signing that confirmation of the nomination form there and taking pictures. There's also the display of the photo that will be on the ballot paper of Dr. Samura, the presidential aspirant of the All People's Congress Party. On the screen.
After ICC signs the documents, photocopy.
Honorable Cherno Majuba and Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson taking their photo of journalists after the nomination process here at the Electoral Commission's office at Tahil in Freetown. The nomination form will now be signed, stamped, and photocopied.
In the struggles of APC, there is victory for us. Oh yes, oh yes. In the struggles of APC, there is victory. No. APC. Back to power now. APC. Back to power now.
Few announcements.
Party songs there from dignitaries of the All People's Congress Party.
The presidential and vice presidential the process has ended. The commissioners can take their leave. The hall is around. We have the hall available for the media to engage the presidential and vice presidential candidates and replacements. That is one. Then secondly, as we go, please the tag, the access tag. Let us leave the access tag at the reception. Thank you very
You've now witnessed the official nomination of Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara and Honorable Cherno Majuba, presidential candidates and running mates respectively of the All People's Congress Party. And we are now waiting for
well, having got through the midway point, as the process was described to us by the National Authorizing Officer, who is the Chief Election Commissioner or whatever, satisfied, I am now ready to take the campaign battle ahead and to ensure that I lead the All People's Congress Party to victory come June 24, 2023, as president of this country.
What's your confidence like to be able to do that?
It's huge. Even the number of supporters around, the messages that you are getting from the people, they are very comforting, they are very encouraging.
Are you concerned about the alliances which the incumbent president has been forging with other political players?
It doesn't worry me at all. That was a service alliance.
These are the third and fourth parties in that should be of a concern to you.
No, it's not. As I told you, it's a lead service alliance where a leader goes in and forms an alliance and leaving his supporters behind.
What makes you think so?
This.
And you asked here to comment regarding peaceful polls on the 24th.
Yes.
What or how to achieve that? Ensuring that the elections, at least your supporters, do not commit violence.
The APC party is a very peaceful party. As I told the national officer, I put the ball back at his court. Because if the processes are not done in a free and fair manner, that will provoke violence. It will provoke dissatisfaction. And dissatisfaction plus handedness of the security forces breed violence. These two factors are very important. So, it is upon the national rising officer to ensure that there are no favors. We've received alleged incidents of future rigging. Judging from even the documentation we have received so far, there's every assumption from everybody to think wrongly, where a voter card does not have a face, where there is a face, it is not clear, it's not visual. A lot of irregularities, and I think it's important that these are corrected well before June 24, 2023.
Does that mean you are faulting the process so far?
I'm not faulting, I'm just raising an alarm and concerns about what I think the Electoral Commissioner should do. And I'm sure he's aware of this. There was a time when I know they also admitted to some of these shortcomings. And I think what you don't want to do is to deny anybody who is eligible in this country the right to vote, the right to exercise his voting capacity. And the ball is in his court. If he wants to serve the people of this country, he must say so and do so. He's not serving his master's voice, because his master's voice is also on the ballot.
And finally, do you have confidence in the process, the electoral process?
There are a lot of concerns to it, and we have written a letter to him to raise his concerns. He comprehends and don't need to him. It's left with him. His conscience and his responsibility to serve the people, not to serve an individual.
In summary, what are these concerns, sir?
From the beginning to the end, we have raised concerns about the registration process, we raised concerns about the verification process, we raised concerns about the card itself. And this is a pregnancy demand that really needs not throw away just like this. Let him pay attention. If I were the national, I would have called a consultative meeting with the parties who have raised these concerns. I hope you will do that to discuss these issues. Because at the end of the day, these issues will be the eyes and ears of the international community to whom we rely. This election process is properly conducted.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Presidential candidate of the People's Congress party there.
Running on education and agriculture and that.
Oh, that's what. Sustainably resolved in this country. After 60 years, 62 years, someone can still not feed themselves. We cannot connect ourselves. We cannot light up the country. We cannot have sustainable, progressive economic development, economic growth. No serious infrastructure. These are systemic problems which challenges which are always with countries. What we all need to do is to have a big bang approach into this. We make sure that we really take the bull by the horn. Where we left off in 2017, I wish we had continued on that parameter. Notwithstanding, we have one serious challenge. Self-inflicted problems orchestrated. This country has become infested with drugs, particularly the youth. When you drive around, you walk around, you tell you, Samura Kamara say, no more kush. Or they say, we want jobs, no more kush. It sends a message. When you hear the people say, Samura Kamara, we want it. I don't need to explain what that means to you, what that means to them. When the people are shouting, we all get light. These bread and butter issues, they call them, are very pertinent to human development. And these require immediate, short-term interventions because they touch on the day-to-day livelihoods of the people. So these are the two sets of challenges that I'm going to stand on.
What are the interventions that
you want me to give you, to disclose my manifesto now? Sooner or later you will see my manifesto. And to clearly articulate all of this.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys.
If you have any
Samuel Wilson Kamara there answering questions from the press on the processes from the Electoral Commission and whether he the process. He stated that there are concerns of which the party executives have forwarded to the Electoral Commission concerns. He spoke on the things he's running on, economic issues, and the issue of the bread and butter, and the issue of strengthening the country's economy, and also other things. But we'd like to link now to our outside team as they are set also to receive Dr. Samuel Kamara and APC after the nomination process. But in the nomination process, like from the Electoral Commission all here at Tower Hill in Freetown, and we'll watch you every process here for this particular nomination.
outside businesses. Regulation of 20% who are allowed inside. Now that was settled amicably. That was settled amicably. 20% actually allowed inside. Process inside. Now, the